Leonard Taylor. We talked about it weeks ago that August 6th was D-Day, the day he would decide and make that commitment. Third-rated defensive tackle in the country, according to the 247 Sports Composite. 27th rated player, regardless of position in the country. That's way up the ladder. And Leonard Taylor has decided to be a Cane.
And I love the way he did it, Mark. He has his family up there. And it's not like he has any of these props or anything. He's sitting in the middle, CBS Sports. There's two screens behind him. There's his mother, his father, his oldest brother. I'm committing to the University of Miami. Puts on the hat, throws up to you, tells everybody God bless, walks off. That's what I love. It wasn't any of the theatrics, flip this hat, throw that hat, disrespect that staff. Even if he were to flip the floor to get his hat and pick Miami, initially we would get all fired up and be happy. But, I mean, you think big picture, the mature thing is he picked his school. He talked about the relationship, and I talk ad nauseum about this on my channel. His relationship with his position coach and Coach Todd Stroud. And that's something that, wow. I mean, you got your recruiters, and sometime in this business, people don't understand that position coach isn't always your primary recruiter. In some instances, they are a secondary recruiter, or just geographically, maybe the safeties coach is from Atlanta, Georgia, and you're a running back from Atlanta. So that's his recruiting area. So then he's recruiting you. And then he brings on the position coach to talk to you occasionally. No, Todd Stroud was his recruiter. And he talked about how he's always calling him and checking up on his family, checking up on his grades, how he's doing as a person, and how he was dealing with the pandemic. And that really touched him, that he cared about him as a person, as Leonard Taylor, the human being, not what Leonard Taylor can do as a football player. And he also talked about putting on for his city. And doing this thing, repping his city and making plays here at Miami. And another big thing people may have forgot, towards the end, he said, dominate as a freshman. And what that means is us at defensive tackle, it's been some woes. I mean, even if you think about R.J. McIntosh, he was a 3-star strong side defensive end turned defensive tackle who came and had high production at Miami from a 3-technique perspective. Gerald Willis was a transfer. So as far as Miami going out and recruiting a marquee defensive tackle and signing a marquee defensive tackle, that has not happened since February of 2008 with Marcus Forston from Miami Northwestern. 12 years ago, Mark, was the last time we went and signed a marquee interior defensive tackle to come here and produce at the U. So, I mean, like I said, we've moved people to defensive tackle. We've had transfers come in. Gerald Willis was even a strong side defensive end, originally moved to defensive tackle. So it's exciting. It's exciting. The amount of athleticism that this young man has. I mean, he has the first 2 plays of his highlight tape, Mark, are interceptions. At defensive tackle, one of them he almost took back to the crib 60 yards. Like, that's the type of stuff. I mean, it's amazing to have those type of guys. We want to be able to hone their craft and turn them into legit defensive tackles. I mean, it's kind of cool seeing guys carry the ball. You know, you see the big 6'4" guy get a dive. It's kind of cool. You know, but those of us who study film, we want to see what he does as a defensive tackle. You talk about elite mobility as a defensive tackle, very nimble. You know, I think some systems may have actually made him a strong side defensive end because he's already pushing about 260 right now. And I can see him well over about that 285 range, a full year into a Division I strength and conditioning program. I mean, even then, he may get to 270 before he gets to Miami. He still has a year left before he signs the letter of intent. But we get excited about these young men committing. That makes 3 out of the 5 for the Palmetto 5. Teaming them up with one of the best duos at defensive tackle we've had in recruiting in well over 20 years. We got a legit 3-star defensive tackle and a legit 1-technique, 2-eye technique next to him is Savion Collins, who's been committed for a while also, and has come out and said that Manny Diaz and him had a personal conversation, and he solidified his commitment. There was some air going on there between him and us, and then he was creeping towards Florida. But then him and the head coach had a nice conversation about a week ago, smooth over whatever needed to be smoothed over. So he solidified his commitment to Miami. So we got the number 3 defensive tackle and the number 15 defensive tackle in this class. The other half of it, we're about to get into, and that's being able to hold on to these young men. Once the footballs start getting thrown, once the pads get put on, and once helmets start rolling, what's going to happen when the Miami Hurricanes got to come on the football field and play the game?